We live in a high-tech world. A lot of devices use electronic components that allow them to control themselves and other devices, and that enable them to communicate with each other. This is how entire buildings, cities, and even people are ultimately connected across the globe. The ubiquitous visualization is device-independent, anywhere, anytime, on mobile devices, virtual displays, or personal items in accordance with the user's preferences. Digital information exists about every single one of us. Information that is accessible to others. The volume of digitized information about us and for us continues to grow. How can we master this vast amount of data? We need a navigator to guide us through the world of infinite information. Every single one of us is part of this vast amount of information. The so-called augmented identity, or short AID, will make this possible. It will extend the identity that we've known up to now to include a digital representation. Thanks to modern technologies, we can communicate with friends, family, and business partners almost anywhere and anytime today. The AID can support and simplify this communication. Is perhaps one or the other person interesting for me? Does he or she have the same job as I do? Or do we have the same hobby? What do we know about a certain person? In a certain environment, the AID can search specifically for people, services, or objects. For that purpose, it can automatically exchange and manage every item of information which is available. At the same time, it protects us from external influences. The AID saves information that has been provided about the activities, the private and professional life of a person, and this information becomes more and more every day. This data is managed according to the user's individual expectations. The user can therefore create different user profiles. Depending on the situation, the appropriate profile will be activated and will control the AID's behavior during an interaction. The profile controls which information is available for the public and which persons, objects, or services will be interacted with. As soon as the situation changes, the user can switch to an appropriate profile. The AID can be set to automatically recognize situational changes and suggest a profile that fits the situation. If the AID does not find appropriate settings in the active profile, the user can step in. Stepping in trains the profile. The profile learns about personal habits and needs. The user can also leave decisions to their AID. The AID will then decide on the desired action. How independently the AID decides is controlled by the user, who can have the AID display every activity and flow of information at any time. The AID can be used with existing technologies, a fact that will speed up its development. The AID manages and configures all the required services to suit the user's preferences and makes them available on demand. Users can control themselves whether they want to be visible in the digital world or not. Depending on the situation, the user acts anonymously or can be identified. This results into a network of different visibilities, depending on whether the other person is defined as known or not. If the AID is switched off, no interaction with other AIDs or services takes place. In this mode, the AID cannot determine positions. As soon as the AID is switched on, its sensors and logic start to work. The activated AID can now communicate with other AIDs in its environment. The process of AIDs comparing information is called matching. The matching process is carried out via peer-to-peer. The data generated is therefore only controlled by the AIDs involved in the process. Profiles can be flexibly adapted to a situation. If desired by the user, even private information can be made available for users in immediate proximity at short notice. The AID checks independently whether interesting participants are available and advises its user accordingly. The AID automatically recognizes changes in the context. It reacts immediately by changing its communicative behavior. It might not send certain information to the new environment, or it might have just started sending other information. It also makes new decisions about which information to pass on to the user. The AID thus provides active protection without configurations being necessary. As soon as the profile changes, the AID changes its communicational behavior as different kinds of information and needs become relevant. This is a technology where the human being takes center stage. Services as well as products will be oriented towards the needs of individual people. The AID compares the personalized offer with the user's evening plans. After matching, it initiates a request for detailed information and connects to a reservation service. Devices will not be bound to a certain purpose. Instead, they can be used in a more individual fashion. Developing services and products, as well as the AID's open system, will permit the use of the AID in all areas of life. New possibilities arise, for example, for mobile business networking, where quickly and efficiently the user can link with other users and establish contacts. Let us take a look at an information event. An ambient resource in the foyer controls the access to the event's venue. The organizer provides documentation and predefined search requests. As the user enters, the AID recognizes that this is an event and suggests an appropriate profile for the duration of the stay. The AID guides the user to exactly these locations where activities relevant for the user are taking place. During presentations, participants can ask questions or give comments. The speaker can immediately react to questions and comments or subsequently speak to the participant. In certain communication situations, users can connect to the AIDs of other users. This is where a person controls the discussion. He or she extracts necessary information and transfers the results. As soon as known people are near, the user will be informed. The user then decides whether to reveal his or her own identity. There are different possibilities available for the user to establish contact. Every interaction can be saved in a contact history for the respective person. Changed contact details are automatically synchronized. The AID recognizes the conversation. It automatically collects and stores the information for future conversations. The organizer has defined a search request. In this case, the search request finds participants with similar fields of work. Search requests can be adapted dynamically to individual needs. A meeting point is available and is suggested to the user. This conversation is translated in real time by the AID. If all participants agree, the AID can record conversations. Any number of conversation partners can be added. The AID is fully integrated into digital environments. It makes the boundaries between virtual and real world disappear. The AID can be bound to places or events. search requests and personal information can be provided until the end of an event. This information always remains with the AID, giving the user total control about who has access to his information and whether other users may connect using his information. Afterwards, this data will be deleted. The technologies introduced offer a new form of communication and interaction. They are designed to help make our work more efficient and open up new possibilities in our private life.